live edition. I'm Aaron Hilton, and as always, joined by my main man, Malik Smith. Malik, what's happening, man? Been a
What's, go-
while.
what's going on, bro? I know it's been too long. It's been too long.
Oh, far too long, brother. Far too long. Yeah, man. I mean, again, like we said, life be lifing. We're gonna try and give you this pod whenever we possibly can. We ain't going nowhere. It's just sometimes it's not gonna be every week. Every now and again, we got to get our lives together, and it might be a
Yeah,
couple of weeks before you hear from us. But we
we
always
gotta
gonna be there.
we gotta find some things to talk about. We can't just be coming in with the frozen takes. We gotta gear out
It's right,
something.
exactly.
You know,
It's light. It's a light sports. Although spring training getting started, so we're gonna have a lot more to talk about real soon.
I'm
In
excited
terms
for
of
that. By the
the
way,
world of baseball and everything, for
yeah.
sure. Me as well. Me as well. So I wanted to get into it with a little bit of NFL draft combine. I know that we had talked about it before getting on air here that you haven't really plugged into the draft too much, and I'm sure part of that has to do with your Giants failing you again to get the first overall pick when you had it within your clutches. We, the Raiders delegation, do appreciate you for that.
Please enjoy.
But I expressed to you a bit of my concerns, kind of my I don't know, like it's almost like a survivor's remorse type of thing.
Mm,
Whereas like, you start out excited to have the first overall pick. We get the coach. Not the coach necessarily I wanted in the beginning, but I like the hire of Clint Kubiak. I kind of wanted Brian Flores, but I like the hiring of Clint Kubiak and going the offensive route this time. Um, it seems to be Felipe Mendoza, Fernando Mendoza. I always forget the first name if it's Felipe
not
or Fernando.
Felipe.
Yeah, well, Fernando. Okay, well,
he
Fernando
said something.
Mendoza.
He said something F with a tilde on the E. Yeah, something like
Something,
that.
yeah, one of them. It's one of those Hispanic sounding names. But Mendoza is widely regarded to be the number one overall pick, both because of position that he played, the year that he had as the Heisman Trophy winner and national champion quarterback of the Indiana Hoosiers. He is widely believed to be the first overall pick. Didn't throw at the combine,
Does anyone
but
ever
it
throw at the combine? Like,
no, not the top picks, but it seems like only people like Shadur Sanders get like slandered for it. It's kind of
hmm,
weird.
interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. But yeah, not so much about him, but that's how we got to talking about the draft. One thing that did come out of Combine Week, is the underwear Olympics, as those like to affectionately call it in the football world. Day one was linebackers and linemen or defensive linemen, and it didn't take very long for the workout warrior to present himself in the way of was it Sonny something from Ohio State?
I got to take your
Is
word for it.
yeah,
I haven't seen it.
his name is it's Sonny something. I forgot his last name, but he's the linebacker for Ohio State, 6'5", just a physical specimen. Jumped 43 and a half inches in the air, which you'll know
Damn,
you don't really need a vertical leap for the NFL,
you
but
don't. Well, I
listening to
mean,
Todd McShay, he says stuff like the vertical leap and the broad jump, it measures your explosion, so it kind of validates what all the other measurables might think. So if you run a
if you,
4.4 and you have a 40-inch vertical, it shows okay, explosive athlete. It doesn't make you're not going to need this isn't the NBA where you might need to catch a lob or grab
well,
some rebounds, but
they might need to put him on special teams to block field goals because
that's a good.
43
Yeah,
is
I
very
mean,
yeah.
you can't jump over a center, but you can
Yeah,
jump behind the
just
center
jump as high
and
as you
block. You know
possibly
what I
can
mean?
to see if you can block
Six
that
foot
man.
five with a 44. I mean, Nate Robinson famously, I think, has like a 44-inch vertical, a
Yeah,
43-inch vertical, something like that. So if that puts it into perspective for you guys, this guy is a full like 8-9 inches taller than Nate Robinson and jumps just as high. So
yeah.
he is a freak of an athlete, and that's the kind of stories that come out of the draft around this time. So I want to be excited about this draft for the Raiders. I'm not quite sure that I can get there yet. I know you haven't really gotten there for your Giants yet. I'm sure as we get closer to the draft, we'll maybe have stronger feelings about that. But I wanted to bring up the NFL draft to bring us into another draft in professional sports that's a few more months away. We still have to
Hmm.
get through playoff basketball, obviously, but the NBA draft is looming. And it seems like the eyes of the college basketball world and soon to be NBA world are on two names, AJ DeBonta and Darryn Peterson. Malik, who would you take with that number one pick if you're an NBA GM?
So I actually wrote about this a couple months ago, and it was still kind of early on in the season. but I wrote that I think if I was a GM, I would probably think the way that GMs think, which is I want to keep my job for as long as possible, and
Yeah.
right against all odds, which makes sense, right? Obviously, people want to keep extremely high profile jobs,
Seems
but
like a smart thing to do. Yeah.
whatever. Um, I think the way that GMs look at this draft, it would not surprise me if DeBonsa went first overall
Hmm.
because he's taller, he's bigger. He's the kind of guy that GMs talk themselves into and say, like, well, this guy has all the tools. Skill wise, I think he and Darryn Peterson, they both have a lot of the same skills and abilities that just jump off the page. But DeBonce is a little bit more explosive. He's a bigger guy, and like I think he looks like the kind of guy that teams talk themselves into. Right? You always need a wing player. Um, like Peterson, he's kind of he's not a point guard, but he's maybe like 6'4", 6'5". He's explosive as well, but like not to the
Hmm.
same degree that DeBonce is. Um, and obviously, part of the reason why we're talking about this right now is because there's been a lot of other things that people talked about with Darryn Peterson. But to answer your original question, I think I probably would take DeBonta first overall
Hmm.
because I think he might have the ability to fit in with more teams. Um, Even though I really, really I really like Darryn Peterson. I like his game. Um, I like a lot of things about him. And we can get into some of the stuff that people have been talking about more recently with regard to him. But I don't know. Who would you take?
Oh, I mean, it's no hesitation on taking AJ DeBonta ahead of him.
Mm.
And honestly, I would consider, depending on what my team needed, I would consider looking at a Boozer or a Cuff or whoever else you might think is floating there towards the top. I still want to wait till we get through tournament time to see what other names might pop to the surface. I really like the point guards that are going to be coming out in this draft.
There's
There's
a lot of
a
good
lot of guys
ones.
that can shoot, that still run the team. They might not be like the pass first point guards like a Fears is, who leads the nation in assists at over 9 a game, but there are a lot of point guards who are adept at scoring. Thinking Christian Anderson for Texas Tech. You look at Darius Acuff for Arkansas. You look at LeBaron Philon for Alabama. So there are a lot of really good lead guards, point guards in this draft with good size, good shooting ability, and can still run a team and run an offense that I like in this draft. I really like Cameron Boozer. I know a lot of people are giving him comps to Tyler Hansbrough in that he's just a physical presence that's dominating other teenagers and early 20s guys. But I would argue that when you watch what he did against Michigan, what that showed me is that he just affects the game and he finds a way to be effective. He does. You don't have to be jumping over people and dunking on a bunch of guys in order to be effective in the league. Just look at guys like Jokic. Look at guys like Randall. I would liken
Sabonis.
him. Exactly. I would more liken a guy like Boozer to Randall, but we can get into player comps later. For this specific discussion, I definitely wanted to broach it because I hesitate to say fully disgusted because that's where I was a couple of weeks ago with the Darren Peterson situation. But then, I had to stop myself and realize like one, still a young man. A man because all these guys are 18 plus, but still young and going through it. And you don't know. We don't know what we don't know. None of this has come out. It seems like from some of the sideline histrionics from Bill Self that he's over it. It certainly looks like Darren Peterson has been taking himself out of these games. Just seemingly like he's just getting his cardio and putting good tape out there for NBA scouts to drool over. Like, hey, look, this is what I can do against the top competition. And after about 20 minutes, I'm out. Scored damn near 20 points in that game against AJ DeBonta. He's had 18 points in the first half, and then doesn't play in the second half. You know what I mean? And like your best ability is your availability. If you can't play, like I don't give a shit if you are like the second coming. Like LeBron James made his bones in the league by just being available. He was never hurt. He always played 75 plus games every single season. Michael Jordan, same thing. He played 80 plus games every single season. These guys are just available. They're always there, ready to play. With even with little nicks and bumps and bruises, and it just seems like Darren Peterson, at least to this point, in his collegiate career is just not built that way, and that is a red flag for me.
So I was kind of surprised that this thing took off the way that it did, and it spawned some other thoughts in my head. One that I think um, I think people just are like bored and they just didn't have anything else to talk about, and this sort of just
Yeah,
kind of became a thing. The same with like tanking. Like there was a week where just everybody was talking about tanking, and I'm like, there was it got to the point where like even in some of the group chats, like people were bringing it up, and I'm like, I know good and damn well you motherfuckers were not watching some random Utah Jazz game and saw this. Everyone's just sort of aggregating things. And
yeah,
I felt like the Darryn Peterson thing was another thing where it felt like it was kind of getting aggregated. And I think when it really reached like peak levels of like, all right, this is kind of getting ridiculous, is when Stephen A was like going off and saying that like he was just like completely disrespecting him and saying that
mhm,
like he just wasn't a star player and he didn't have the will and all this other stuff. And I'm like, dude, like let's be serious. I can
yeah.
almost guarantee you have never watched a full game of this guy. Um, but it just seemed like
He's
everybody
probably
just
playing Tetris on the sideline.
exactly. But it felt like everybody was just sort of piling on, and Jay Billis, who I love, um, I think he has like he's got to have like a 99.999%. Like there's always gonna be one hater, but he's got like to
Hmm.
have a 99.9% like Q rating. Like he's
Yeah,
just the
100%.
most lovable guy.
Most consistent, lovable
Yeah,
Duke
yeah.
grad, by the way.
Jeezy quotes. I mean, come on. Like how could you not love
I
a man
gotta
like
go to
that?
work every morning. Jeezy quote.
Um, but he made a really good point. He's like, people are just assuming that he doesn't want to play, and in a sense, like we don't know that. Like you said, like we don't know. Which I'm glad that's why you said like you kind of pull back because
Hmm.
people are just sort of assuming that this guy isn't actually hurt. And apparently he's been dealing with cramps. He started the season hurt actually, so he didn't really play coming out of the gate. So he could just be dealing with a lingering issue for all we know. Um, I don't like questioning a player's um, desire to play.
Hmm.
Like I know everyone's making the Ben Simmons comps, and I even think that's unfair because, and I know you know this more intimately than I do. Like the Ben Simmons story, it was part of it was like he had that whole thing where he completely broke. Like we watched him break down in the playoffs, and it was just like his whole career just
Yeah,
sort of
his situation
cratered
is
after that.
completely unique.
But
His
he
is a
also,
confidence issue, and Darren
well,
Peterson does not
well,
lack for
it,
confidence.
I think part of it was a confidence issue. I think part of it was, he was upset at the team for not being having his back, and he felt like he got
Hmm.
thrown under the bus. But he also had like major back injuries and back surgery. Like that's you can't divorce the injury part of it from his story. And I think to just be like, well, he never really wanted to play, and he got the money, and now he doesn't care. I don't know. I don't like saying that about someone without knowing that for sure. And I
Hmm.
think for a player who hasn't even been drafted yet to start getting that tag on him, I don't like it. I don't like it. Like if you can't prove that he's going out there, and here's the other thing that I think is interesting. He's already considered to be the top pick, right? Like so
Hmm.
what's the incentive of not playing? If he was just going to do that, he would have just sat out the whole season because teams already before he even played a game, they were like, "This guy is like the next Kobe," and then we
Yeah,
saw him play, and it was just like, "Yep, kind of looks like Kobe when he does this, and he does like
he's got a grown man's body.
he's got a
He
lot
can
of
get any
Kobe
shot
s
he
Jordan s.
wants.
Yeah, it's just so I don't know. I struggle with the whole like this guy doesn't like there's a part of me that's just like, do we just hate sports? Because I feel like
Mm.
we just shit talk so many athletes. Like this guy hasn't even played professionally yet, and we're already shit talking him. It's just like, damn, like let the man's like story play out. For all we know, he could be
Well,
dealing with the injury.
let me
You
bug
know,
back what you hear is,
please,
well, in this day and age landscape of college sports, he is playing professionally because he's got an NIL
sure,
deal. That is for
sure.
sure. He's making millions of dollars. I'm almost 100% positive of that. So, like, this is a professional sport, okay? And the only reason why I think he's playing at all is because I think he has NIL responsibilities, and he can't just sit out the same way Ennis Cantor sat out when he was hurt and he was in Kentucky, or there was an eligibility issue, I think, or whatever it is. Still made himself a first round pick, so had a decent NBA career. But like, on rare occasion there are situations that happen like that. The one thing that you could kind of compare it to, there are two different comps that you could possibly have. You have like that Markel Fultz slash Ben Simmons situation that happened in college, where they both were dealing with some injuries and some not so good teams, and they were the consensus number one picks. So it got to around this time of the year, and they were just like, "F it, I'm out. I'm gonna get ready for the draft. I'm not gonna play anymore." So you have those types of mentalities, or you have the Jalen Johnson, who a lot of people don't really think about in those times. But there was a time, especially as a Duke fan, I can speak to this intimately. He was the number one high school recruit, or a top three at least high school recruit, coming out. He comes to Duke, doesn't really fit Coach K's system at the time for the type of player that he was. Coach K just really couldn't figure out how to use him, and it just seemed like he couldn't really get anything down. He's the guy that needed the ball in his hands, an athletic wing, not really the greatest shooter, kind of a rhythm scorer who and slasher on the wing. But for whatever reason, the way that the team was constructed, he wasn't getting it down. And he was ruining his draft stock by playing the first half of the year. And Jalen just decided, he was just like, look, I'm gonna pull myself out of here. I think he might have had like a minor injury or something, but then he just kind of like was, look, I'm just gonna get ready for the draft. I'm ruining my draft stock here. I need to get ready for the draft and show these teams when it's time for the NBA Combine to come along, that I can play. And now look, he's a first time All Star. He's one of the best players in the league, one of the best forwards in the league. He's leading the
Most
Hawks.
improved, probably.
Probably most improved, yep, or comeback player of the year, whichever award you want to give him. But he should have some hardware at the end of the year here, and just a very good player all in all. So you don't know which category Darryn Peterson is going to go into, and that's kind of why I stepped back a little bit.
Yeah.
But the optics
But
are the optics. The
yeah,
perception is what it is. Like, it's not just Darryn Peterson. One moment you see him, one moment you don't. There is the combination of him literally pulling himself out of the games, and then Coach Self, who, it's not like Coach Self is like some neo-Nazi on the sideline or some like fucking hard driver person. You know what I mean? Like, Coach Self is a
hmm
very well respected, well demeanored coach, and for him to be on the sidelines, like begging, imploring him to, hey, you're fine, stay in the game, and Peterson like adamantly like, no, take me out of the game at any given moment. The optics don't look great. And there are other people that dealt with cramps in college. Paulo Banchero recently, who was the number one overall pick himself, dealt with cramps. Um, but you never saw him like waving to the sidelines to come out of the game. He would be on the sidelines frustrated, drinking his special Gatorade concoction to try and assuage that physical issue that he was dealing with, so he could get more time on the floor. So I would just say that while I'm walking back the fully disappointed thing until I gather more information, I'm also not ready to just jump completely on the other side of it and start defending this kid, because I still don't like the way things are looking, for Darryn Peterson, and just the perception of how that's going.
I don't think anybody needs to defend him. I just don't think it needs to be like he's a loser. He has a loser mentality, which
Yeah,
is like some of what I've been hearing. And it's just like, guys, like, let's maybe calm down. You know
let's
what I
walk it
mean?
back, guys. Relax.
Um,
He's 19 years old. Like,
yeah, like
you know,
it was they were putting it on a little bit thick, and
Mhm.
to be honest, it's like, I go back to the thing about tanking, right? Everyone was pissed off about tanking for a week, and it was just like an affront to sports and yada 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 and this and that. And again, I go back and I say, like how many of you people are watching the fucking Utah Jazz? Like, if the Utah Jazz decided that they were going to play balls to the wall, everybody, how many games do you guys think they would win? More than they've already won. Like, maybe 5 more games. Like, they're not a good team. So I don't really understand what we're talking about. If this kid is hurt, why? If, right? I'm not saying that he is or he isn't. I'm just saying, like,
right.
if his excuse for coming out of the games is that he's got cramps and he's uncomfortable playing out there with
Mhm.
cramps, or he's dealing with I want to say it was a hamstring injury before the season, right? Like,
Yeah, it
whatever
was
the
a
case.
hamstring. Mhm.
If he's like, hey, I don't feel like I'm 100%, I want to come out of the game. I don't understand why in 2026 we have to have this like thing where, like, oh, I need my athletes to have a warrior mentality and they got to fight through the. It's like, no, that's stupid. Like, what are we
Well,
talking?
he's also allowing it, because the problem is, and you could say, well, he doesn't know anybody anything, but the reality is, when you play for the amount of money that he is playing for. And when you play with the amount of eyes that you have, like, it does behoove you to come out there and defend yourself, whether warranted or not. Because again, all we have to go off of is what we are seeing.
I
So
disagree.
you could say, like, hey, we should give this kid a benefit of the doubt, but this is really the first time that we get to see him on a national stage. And all that we are seeing, what seems to be taking over, is like we are watching these glimpses of greatness or really, 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 really goodness. And it's taken away, and not by him getting in foul trouble, not by the coach trying to dim his light by, cutting his rotation minutes or
Hmm.
whatever the case may be. Is he's pulling himself out of these games, and instead of taking an opportunity to explain it or to come out and say anything, this coach been tight-lipped about it. Bill Self hasn't said anything about it. They're being really cryptic on their side. Darryn Peterson, I don't think I wouldn't know his voice if you played
I
it
was
for me,
about to say
on a
the same
loop.
thing.
So you know what I mean. So like
Yeah,
that becomes the other half of it, is
but
if you're giving me this information
mhm.
and this is the information that you are putting out there, and you are not disputing it when it is being said. Now they're going too far with it. I'm not disagreeing with you that they're going too far, because I don't think you can attack a person's like character. Calling a person a loser, especially a 19-year-old kid, is like beyond me. But um I do think that there is a certain aspect of part of your job as a professional athlete, or in this case, I guess you can call it maybe semi-pro athlete, is if there's a narrative that is out there that is dimming your light, or that is something that you do not approve of, or anything, or that's just flat out wrong, you either combat it or you just allow it to keep happening, and allow people to keep saying those things about you. And because of that, a guy who probably should have been a shoe-in for the number one overall pick, it's now a debate between him and AJ Devonta.
Well, the debate between him and AJ Devonta is there because AJ Devonta is like really good. Like I don't think
Hmm.
like I don't want to take anything away from Devonta and like how good he's been and like what I think his ceiling could be as a actual pro in the
Hmm.
NBA. Um, like I think these two things are separate. And I also just like there's a part I hear you. It would be great if like every time somebody thought something about an athlete that they sort of like addressed it. But I also don't think that you can address everything that everybody says about you because then you just be constantly responding to people, whether it's people on social media or even people on television who have a platform, right? Or in this case, podcasts and other platforms. But right, but I mean, there's just so many people and so many thoughts. It's like it would be impossible. And I also think that's the difference between an NBA player and a college player is that like I don't expect a college player to do anything other than show me on the floor
Hmm.
what you're about, right? Like all the talking and shit. Like most of these guys don't
So
have
what
the
is he
no
showing you on the floor?
no. I was getting ready to get to that.
Mm.
What I'm saying is like the only thing he can do is go out there and play basketball, and that will show us like something. Now we can infer all we want what we think about him, right? But like I don't think him coming out and responding to it, or the coach speaking on his behalf, or whoever his agent, whomever, right? Like I don't even know who speaks for these people at this stage, but like I don't know that that would do anything. I would just need to see him play, and if he's not playing because he says he's hurt, or the coach says that he's hurt, or whatever the case, I have to kind of take them at their word. Like I have no reason to assume that he's going to make it up. He's going to. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. He would get the money no matter what, right? Like the NIL money is
No,
going to
I
get no matter
think
what.
with the way that you're seeing it happen, I think it's slowly but surely happening that these teams are able to sue the players and get returns. That the contract language is only gonna get better and better for these teams as they
Yeah.
start to learn how to navigate these waters of NIL and transfer portal and all of that stuff. So it might still take some time for it to catch up.
But if
But
he
I
if
do
he
think
God
it's gonna
forbid
get better.
he broke his ankle
Hmm.
tomorrow,
No, I mean, I
what they
think
could.
insurance would handle all of that stuff. Like
Okay.
that is about insurance, and how well a player is insured and what they're insured for and all
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But I think in this particular situation, I actually disagree with that. I think that in this unique situation, where the only person who knows how he feels is him. He's the only one. Bill Self doesn't know that. Training staff doesn't know. Darryn Peterson is the only person who knows how he feels and what is going through his mind when he is asking out of these games. Because what cannot be debated is his greatness on the floor.
Hmm.
What cannot be debated is that he is asking out of these games. And the third thing that cannot be debated is that, at least at times, his coach and him are not on the same page in terms of how long he should play, what he could play through, when he should stay into the game, when he should come out of the game. So, with all of those things in mind, you have this great player who is showing you why there's all this hype around surrounding him. There is a mysteriousness behind his injury, because anytime you're dealing with soft tissue injuries like a hamstring injury, you just, time is the only way to heal that. There's no
Yeah,
cast that you can put on, or shot that you can take, or anything. You can take
gotta
pain
rest it.
away, but you can't heal it with anything but time. And if you don't let it heal properly, you're only susceptible to more injuries. So, um, in that regard, I am a bit sympathetic to him. But the other part of it is if you're going to put yourself out there at all, if you're just going to not play, it was like, hey, I have a hamstring injury. The doctor said it's not going to be 100% unless I sit out for this 3 month span. Then, and he doesn't play for those 3 months, and then he comes back in February or early March, and he just dominates for Kansas, and they make a run in the tournament. Great. If he put that at risk because he was like, look, I thought that I could help myself and my own draft stock, and I could really help this team win more games in the regular season and get a better seeding if I came back early from this hamstring injury instead of letting it fully heal. But the result of that is I have to now
Minutes
come out
restriction.
of games
Yeah.
after about 20. I can't play more than I'm on a minute restriction essentially. And sometimes it'll be under 20 minutes, sometimes it'll be over 25 minutes. It all really depends on how I'm feeling. I think even just that explains, okay, this is what's happening. This is a kid who wanted to come out and play. He still wanted to fulfill his NIL contract, or maybe he just loves basketball enough that he wants to go out there and play. But he is also smart and conscious enough to know, I'm not going to be here for 4 years. I'm barely going to be here for 4 months. My job while I am here is to get myself into the position to make the most amount of money possible when I get to my ultimate goal, which is making it in the NBA. His goal is not to be the best player in the history of Kansas basketball. His goal is not to be the best player in the career of college basketball, in the history of college basketball. His job, his goal, I'm assuming here, but
No,
you know,
yeah,
is
fair assumption.
NBA,
Yeah,
as most of these one and done athletes are. So I don't want to take the goal of or the angle of company man, but what I will say is if you're going to be out there, people are going to want you to actually be out there and be both feet in. They're not going to want you to be playing the fucking double dutch, or you know what I'm saying, like, and you're just kind of like half in half out, and you don't know when you're gonna call it a game, or when you're gonna pull yourself out of a game. Is he gonna be in the NCAA tournament and be like, hey, I scored 25 in the first half and I only played 3 minutes in the second half because my hamstring tightened up on me at halftime? Like, how is that gonna do himself
yeah.
any services?
Well, let me ask you this though: if he's came out and said like, "Yo, I got to be on a minutes restriction,"
Hmm.
I don't think that's stopping people who are already critical of him from being even more critical of him, because they're gonna be like, "Oh, this guy's a diva, minutes restriction in college, like what?" There's already this and KD brought this up too about
Right.
the perception of college, or sorry, American athletes, and they go through the AAU system and all that, and there's plenty of criticisms that we could um, you know toss at the AAU system, and the way that youth basketball and youth sports in general in America is sort of being handled. But I do think that it's like there's this negative perception of um, these young athletes. We'll keep it specifically to basketball.
Hmm.
They tend to be black most cases, right? And that there is a sort of a like, I think that there is sort of a stigma around black athletes who are putting themselves, rightfully so, first, and people are just like, how dare you put yourself first? Like, you should die on the floor for me because that's what I want to see. And like, and then we could talk about how great you were in college, but you never made it pro. But like, what could have been? It's like, no, fuck you. Like, I want to go
Right.
out there and make money. Like, that's if that was the case, and I hear you in terms of the ambiguity of it all, like just kind of wondering like, well, which one is it? If he
Hmm.
came out and said that, I think obviously everybody would be like, okay, well, at least we know. I don't necessarily think that's what it is. But even if that is what it is, like I don't. It doesn't bother me as much because that makes sense. Now, if he was just like, yo, I'm actually just robbing y'all niggas. I'm not even that good, and like, I'm just stealing money here. Then maybe I'd be a little bit annoyed because I'm like, okay, this guy's not even that good,
Mm.
but like, he's just robbing us of what we could potentially be seeing. Like it's like, he's kind of shit out there, but and he's calling himself out of games. Like he's not even that effective, but he's
Yeah, I mean, I
actually
think
really really
it's
good. So I
the
don't see why the I don't see the incentive for him to be as good as he is and
well
not
because I
play
don't I don't
unless there's something wrong.
I don't want him to come out and explain himself for me personally. That's another reason why I walked back what I said.
Hmm.
But just for the sake of hopes, for the sake of just having the information out there, and for the people, I'm sure there are probably the real draft evaluators that matter, like the 30 evaluators of talent that actually matter, not the Stephen A. Smiths of the
Yeah.
world who just talk
Right.
for a living. And are good at it, but like ultimately, who fucking cares what Stephen A. Smith thinks? He is not one of the 30 NBA general managers
Yeah.
that are
He
going to
ain't
be
getting you a
deciding
job.
his future.
Yeah.
So, and to be honest, only two or three general managers in the NBA really are going to matter to Darren Peterson, because any team that gets to like, if he goes down past three because of this bullshit, there's going to be some people getting fired because they didn't take a swing. Just putting that out there now. But what I can say
Unless
honestly,
unless
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 what?
there's like a legit
No,
like if it's like Kawhi Leonard, like
no.
yo, he's like degenerative knee situation going on,
Yeah, I
then
think
I
even in
could
the
see somebody being
situation
passed on, or like
where,
Michael Porter Jr.
unless it's, I mean, I could honestly see, even if it's like a Brandon Roy type of situation where
Right? Yeah,
when
yeah.
when the Trailblazers drafted him, they knew he was only going to have like a 5 or 6 year career. There are some teams that were like, look, 5 or 6 years of this great of an
Hell
athlete,
yeah.
we put something around him, we have a chance. We have a 5 year window to win. And for especially a smaller market team, like say it is like the Utah Jazz, like who's to say that he would re-sign with us after his rookie deal anyway? So we've
Hmm.
got 5 years to get this thing right. Let's go ahead and take this guy and see if he is what everybody says he is. Because I think that when he does play, it's very clear that he is the best player in college basketball. He's made it clear
I agree.
against the other guy who could have been up for number one. And I didn't mean to disparage AJ DeBonta. I think he's a very good player. My
Yeah.
point is the greatness of Darren Peterson is so excised that even a player as great and as talented and as physically gifted as AJ DeBonta, who's even been better in this second half of the year, like since the calendar turned to 2026, DeBonta has been on a fucking mission. Since Richie Saunders, his teammate, went down, he has been just a 20-point machine. He's been just ripping them off. So I'm really excited to see what he's going to do in March. But um, as far as for Darren Peterson, I just think it's important because I just want it would make me feel better to a certain degree, but like in terms of his aspect of things, like it's doing nobody any favors to just continue to be silent about it. Like if you came out like, hey, it's an injury, like they were gonna find that in medical anyway when you were
Hmm.
doing your draft evaluation. So it's not like you're letting people in on this deep dark secret that's gonna fuck up your draft stock. Like it is what it is. Your injury is what your injury is, and at some point people are gonna find out about whatever it is, the reason why you were pulling yourself out of games. The only way to kind of silence those critics, or to let people in a little bit on what's going on, um, is to talk to them, is to tell them. And in less than a year, that's going to be your job. You can say whatever we can say whatever we want about how young he is. Cooper Flag just turned 19 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So, and he's younger, I'm pretty sure, than Darren Peterson is. So, at worst, the same age, and he's going through it right now. In terms of being the face of a franchise,
Hmm.
being the guy that replaced Luka Doncic, being, the great white hope of the NBA, the next great white basketball player, or the first really since like Larry Birdish, Steve Nash, I guess, at least American born. So
Yeah.
it's when you're thinking about these guys and the responsibility and the things that they're going to have in the show, you're going to be the face of a franchise come July whatever day, first, second, third, fourth, whatever. You are going to be the face of a franchise,
And likely
and
not a good one.
not exactly, and people are going to be looking to you
Yeah.
to change their fortunes. They're going to be grown men whose job hinges on you figuring it the fuck out. So I just want people to him specifically to understand like your responsibility is greater than that, and we want greater for you. Now there are going to be people along the way that overstep their bounds in their criticism of you, in their praise of you, and everything in between. And you cannot help that. The vast the loudest people are going to make it seem like they're the majority and they're not. The majority of people, they just want to hear your side. And I just hope that he gets past the point where he thinks that silence is going to it's just going to blow over, because it's not. You're that good. If you weren't that good, people wouldn't care. They'll be like, "Yeah, he
Yeah.
plays, doesn't play. Hey, he look pretty good when he plays." You're so good, it is offending people that you're taking yourself out of these games. So, I mean, it really kind of speaks to his talent. So, I hope he figures that out. I don't want to continue to pile on him and things like that, but I would be remiss if I did not say that, it is a twinge disappointing that that we don't get to see the full Darryn Peterson experience, because I think we would be in for a treat,
I
especially in March.
I agree. I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, what his career turns out to be. And hopefully this is just a bump in the road that people forget.
Yeah.
But he definitely, like you said, when you see him actually play, you see it. And there's not a lot of guys that have it, but he definitely has, like, he has
He
that
has it.
sparkle.
Yeah. That spark in his eye.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I was perusing through Instagram earlier today.
Mm, as one
When we
does.
were talking, yeah, as one does, when we were discussing on when to go on and we were going to go live, and I came upon shout out to the Higher Learning Podcast, Van Lathan and Rachel
Big
Lindsay,
fan.
doing great work. Love those two. Love their podcast, love their content. They were on with Kev on Stage, another content creator who I'm quite fond of, another Black King out there, doing God's work, quite
Hmm.
literally. And they had him on talking about a wider range of things. But the clip that I had sent you, he touched on a particular topic that I think we, as music heads and lovers of music, you from the birthplace of hip hop, New York City,
Hip hop, hip hop.
um, I couldn't help but be gravitated towards the conversation that they were having about classic albums and how many skips can you really have on a classic album, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Because we throw the classic or trash thing out, and that's kind of what they talked about. Was, everything has to be a classic or it has to be trash. There's no in between. And Kev said, there are some classic albums that he likes that have three skips on it.
Yeah.
And as many people know, a lot of albums don't have more than 10 to 12 songs on it, especially nowadays. Those days of having a 22 song album are done and over with. It's
Not
nine to
not not
12
if your name is Jermaine
if
Cole though.
Jermaine Cole. Well, the
You
fall
see,
off,
you're
he
going.
said, is the completion of that's a work of art. That
Yeah.
that's years and years of the making of him curating. I think if he was putting out an album as often as a lot of hip hop artists and R&B artists do, he'd probably be closer to that 9 to
Yeah.
12 thing if he's popping one out every other year. But um no, so you're looking at about a quarter of an album that you can skip, and you're still considering a classic. First of all, do you agree with this assessment from Kev on Stage, and if not, why?
So 3 skips for 12
Like,
tracks.
how many skips do you think is like max? Doesn't matter how many. Maybe it does matter how many tracks are on the album, but like, is there a percentage
Yeah, I
of?
think I think it has to, I think it has to be, because if I mean Illmatic is like 9 songs. So I mean
Yeah, you're
that's a
skipping a third of
that's
the album.
yeah, that's like a lot
Yeah,
of skips. And then we have to also, I think, determine, like, are we talking albums? Are we talking mixtapes? Are we talking EPs? Because there's some classic projects. Are we just talking music in general? Like, somebody gave you multiple songs in succession, whatever we're calling that, right? Whether it's a mixtape, an album, or an EP, or whatever, a project, whatever the fuck. Um, but to answer your question, I do think, what is that, like 3 out of 12 songs?
yeah.
I think that that's okay,
Hmm.
because I'll give you an example. Blueprint. I'm a
Hmm.
huge Jay-Z fan, right? Love
Naturally,
Blueprint.
as one is.
But there's some songs, or like this even goes to the Black Album, which I also think is a classic album, is one of my favorites. There's some songs where it's just like they played this on the radio so much, I've heard it so many times. Like I actually don't need to hear "Dirt Off My Shoulder." Like I want to skip to like, Lucifer.
So
I want to
that
skip to, I want to bounce around a little bit. You
and
know what I mean?
that's the part that I wanted to get into
Yeah.
with you a little bit more because why you skip is personally
Yes.
for me. So like that's when I was doing my it's not like super extensive because it would take weeks for me to do the extensive research, but I
Yeah.
took like a 30 minutes to an hour to
You
just
got to
sit
just
there
do
and
it right
flip
off
through
the
my
top of your head.
yeah,
Because if you
I
think too hard on it, then you start throwing in albums that's like not really classic, but
I
you
was
just
like
start
off
going
the
through
top of my head, let me think of some artists that I really loved and what album of theirs would I consider it to be a classic? How many songs would I skip and genuinely skip? So I tried to put myself in the mind frame of maybe not the first listen to the album, but like second or third, like the album's only been out like a week and I'm listening to it again in the car. Which songs am I skipping to get to the next song or just skipping because I'm like, I'm cool with or without this song. Like, if they would have left it off the album, I'm good. I'm not talking about Dirt Off Your Shoulder is not a skip. Dirt Off Your Shoulder is played out. So
Yeah.
you don't need to listen to that
Yeah.
anymore. Some might even argue, depending on what area of the country you grew up in, PSA might be a skip.
Hold
That
on
might be
now.
one of those where you're
Hold
like,
on
if
now.
you're going by the dynamic that you just said, PSA
That wasn't a
is
radio song, but I understand
not
what
a
you're saying.
radio song,
Yeah.
but what party did we go to in
You're
college
right. You're
that
right.
they didn't play PSA?
You're
You know
right.
what I
And
mean?
every time
You're
they
talking
played
about
it, I rap that
sweaty
shit.
house parties where all you're trying to listen to is like Trey songs and the latest R&B artists who you can get up close
Yeah.
to a young sweetheart that you've been eyeing all night. But
And then you hear that.
they
You
were
hear
playing.
you hear
They're
the
gonna
piano
have a.
keys.
They're gonna. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have a go-go set, much to my
Mhm.
chagrin, and they're gonna have a hip hop set. And in that hip hop set, PSA
don't
is gonna be
disrespect
like it
go-go.
just is. It's gonna happen. And they're only gonna play the first verse because that's the only verse that most people who are not from the Northeast know,
Yeah.
and that's fine. For them to be half right on stuff, but the real ones know the whole song. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
but it's a to that end, it's still a skip. So that's why I wanted to make sure that we discussed. I don't. All of that is to say, I do not count "Dirt Off Your Shoulder" as a skip. We're not talking about I'm
I'm saying
tired of
I'm
this
skipping
song.
it.
Skip.
Yeah.
No. But I'm saying like you're not skipping it because you don't like the song.
We're
You're
talking
skipping
skips.
it
Okay.
because it's been played so much. Like my life will not change if I skip this song and don't listen to it while listening to the album. So that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about you're in the trenches. This is the album. You're excited about it. You've listened to it a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Say third, fourth, fifth time through. How many skips are you given? So like now with that new information in mind, and not like set in present day and we're looking back on a classic album, like let's try and ignore
No,
songs
I
that are
got you.
played out on the radio.
I got you. Wait. Okay. So since we're laying down the ground rules as well,
Yeah.
are we counting skits? Or like if I skip the
No,
skit,
that's another
that doesn't
one.
count.
Skits
Okay.
do not skits can help you.
Yeah.
I will say that skits is like it's like an extra credit assignment. You know what I'm saying in a class. Whereas like we're not going to take points off, but if you do hit on this thing, like Good Kid, Mad City, right? So just a spoiler alert for my end of this, I have 3 albums that I wrote down that have no skips. Good Kid, Mad City's on there, right? So that is one where I'm not only listening to the full song, but like that short the song Drink that has
Mm-hmm.
an extended version. I'm listening to that whole thing,
Yeah.
and every skit is good. Like I think he really had his dad recording the skits for him.
Yeah.
His dad should have been a bigger star. I'm just like
He was in the
honestly,
video. His mom's in the video.
real life
Can't remember what video.
laughter.
But yes.
Listening to I don't know if it was his mom really talking also on the video.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
I
both
mean,
of them.
okay,
Both of them.
okay.
Yeah.
His parents are 10 out of 10, no notes. Those are perfect skits. And it's part of the story he was telling in Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah.
I think honestly, to some degree, the skits and the little blurbs from his dad were like the most iconic parts of the album, or the longest lasting parts of the album. You know what I mean? Like the songs
I
were
want your
great. They are
body.
great.
I
I
want your
want your
body
body, ooh, because of that
with
big
that big
old
old
fat
fat
ass
ass
girl.
girl.
You know what I mean? Like that shit is it's great. Don't nobody tell you about no motherfucking domino.
Yeah,
Shit. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like that's it's a
Okay,
beautiful
so
thing. So now you have the criteria. Let's go. How many skips are you allowing an album? Let's go 12 songs in the album. How many skips are you allowed, if any, for it to still be considered a classic?
oof, okay. I still feel like three is
Three
a
still
good
okay.
number because there's some songs that's just like like an album could still be classic and they have three songs where you're just like, nah, this one's not for me. This one's
I
not for
like,
me.
next.
This one's not for me. But like the
Hmm.
the full body of work is still so good that you're just like it holds up and like this is just great. Now you would ideally like I think it's also this is where I start to get like music nerdy. This the like in terms of sequencing, those skips can't be too close together, or then I feel like that album can't be that good. If there's like if the three skips are sort of all within the same range,
Hmm.
um, that makes me question whether the album is actually classic. But like I would have to I would have to pull an album and like look at like okay where are all the skips. But I think three is fine. And more than three, I feel like it's like, is it really classic or is it just a personal classic?
So
Like,
do you have any albums like that you can think of? I don't know if you wrote any down, but if you didn't, do you have any like two or three off the top of your head that's like, this album had a couple of skips on it, but I would still consider it a classic?
so, um, so this is 21 songs.
Okay.
Um, late registration. Rest in peace. Rest in
No,
peace to
pause. This
yeah.
is why you are my fucking guy. This is why. Late registration on the fucking list.
Yeah.
Continue. That's incredible. Incredible.
Um, I'm gonna be honest, yo.
I want to
Addiction,
see if you have the same one.
addiction. I could take it or leave it.
Okay, it's not on my list, but continue.
Um, celebration, I could kind of take it or leave it.
Hmm. That was teetering on the list. I only wrote down one. I have one skip for that album, but I want to see if it's on there. Celebration was almost there, but like I said, I did the exercise of
Yeah, like
the album's still new to me.
yeah.
Then I'm not tired of that. Celebration I can listen to 4 or 5 times and not get tired of it. But this song that I have written down here was like an immediate no.
Um, I can't like so based on our rules, I can't say gold digger, although that is one that
That one's
I've
hard
just
to like go by our rules because you just can't get
yeah.
that out of your.
But it's just like it's like I've heard it enough. I don't like
The
if I'm
music video
listening.
made it worse. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Um, that's really it for me. Like I'm looking right now. Like every time I listen to Hey
Really?
Mama, I cry. Like every
Yeah,
time I
yeah,
tear up.
that's incredible.
Gone is my shit. Um, obviously the Diamonds remix.
Consequence on Gone, just
Yeah, Constant
I
Crazy,
mean,
Constant
just
Crazy.
incredible stuff. Incredible stuff.
Yo, dude, I love Bring Me Down. Like,
Brandy.
just killed it. Crack music, unbelievable. Drive Slow,
Hmm.
unbelievable. Like, yeah, those are the only ones for me. Like,
My Way Home was the one I wrote down for me.
the Gil Scott Heron. Come on, man.
I'm
Come on.
sorry. And
Really?
I know that Kanye is known for using vocals to make his beats. And in
Yeah.
this case, it was Gil Scott Heron. So, but I just, I couldn't do it. I got like
Wow.
30 seconds into the song and I was just immediately just like, no. Because the rest of the album, I could just look at the track list
Yeah.
and the song would play in my head. And it kind of did that for My Way Home, but I was like, maybe I'm misremembering something. I was like, no, can't do, just can't do it. Honestly, I might have skipped that in the moment. And
Wow.
Kanye to me had the best 3 album run to start off a career in hip hop. Like just for me personally, I'm sure that a lot of people think it's sacrilege, and they're probably like,
No, no,
yo, you
no,
have
no.
Reasonable
That
Doubt,
like, come
Blueprint,
on.
and all that.
Well,
But
it would have been Reasonable Doubt in my lifetime and in my lifetime volume too. But yeah,
oh, was it? Oh,
not
okay.
important.
Well, see, there it is. I had no idea.
Hip hop, hip hop.
Yeah, well, if you didn't know Jay-Z's first 3, that would be a bigger problem for you
Yeah,
being
for
from New
sure,
York.
for
So,
sure. Yeah, I would.
especially wearing the
They would
Yankees
have taken
hat,
my card. They would have taken
they
my card.
100% you'd have to take the Yankees hat off live on the pod. So, like, Anything else for you? So we got late registration. You have two or three skips on that. Do you have any other ones that you had written down, or is that the main
Like,
one you had?
with more than see that because I only put based on our rules that one only for me only has two skips.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to think of something else where it's like I'm going. This. I'm doing this live here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so one of my favorite John Legend album, probably my favorite R&B album. Period.
Yeah.
Once again, that has "Save Room for My Love." All these other songs that I'm a big fan of.
Mm-hmm.
There's a song. So this is the other thing too, because there's like I don't know if you remember this era of like uh, you would get like a U.S. version and like a Japan version and like different versions like that got and they had like a Target like deluxe version that
Yeah,
you'd
I
like buy
do.
it at
Yeah, yeah,
Target
yeah.
and they
When
had
you
just like
went
extra
back when you
songs.
actually had to buy
The
the
CD,
CD,
yeah,
like if you went to Music Box, you might get one version, but he might have been like, "Look, we're trying to boost the sales in Target, so I'm gonna only put the deluxe version
yeah,
out in Target,"
yeah,
or yeah. So
yes.
yeah,
It was a very brief era.
just
Uh,
before it went straight to your phone when it dropped. Like it used to be
exactly.
like, "Hey, my album's dropping on Friday. You need to get to the music store by then and pray that we not sold out of the CDs. Otherwise, you'd have to go." It was like
You
fucking
got to
waiting
wait
for
a
the new
week.
Jordans to come out. You know what I
Yeah, yeah,
mean?
legitimately, like yeah,
Yeah.
it actually had that feel. Um, I say all that to say there's on streaming they put the version that wasn't like the U.S. version that I remember. So there's an extra
Mhm.
song on there with him and Mary J. Blige, which I skip every single time. Because I was just like, but part of it is that like I was like, well, I've heard this album so many times that like when I hear that, I'm like, this is not the song that's supposed to come next. Like the sequencing is stuck in my head, so I know it when this song before it ends, this song is supposed to start, and there's like this other song thrown in the middle. I'm like, what is
Right.
this? And when I
Especially when
listened
you're
to
an
it, I was
artist
just
that
like,
does sequencing in the way that John Legend does his sequencing, like
yeah,
you would think it'd be important to him, especially since most people have iPhones and listen to music on Apple Music or Spotify or whatever it is that you use. You would think that that would matter to him, and like if you're gonna put it on there, throw it on the end as a bonus track or something like out of the
right.
blue. But don't fuck up my
But
sequencing.
in wherever this version of the album was sold,
You know.
this whatever version that album was on initially, that's
Mhm.
where the song was. But the version
Yeah,
that I had didn't have that. So
didn't
every
have
time
it
I
on
hear it,
there
I'm
like
like
that.
skip. It's just
Yeah.
like no. And this is like my
Next.
favorite album. I mean, there may be one other skip on there, um, where it's just like okay, again, it's part of it is that I've heard this enough that like I don't need to hear it again. I
Mhm.
like the song, but I don't need to hear it again. But yeah, that's the only one I can think of where there's just like multiple skips.
So
Um,
the one I have for me, I have a few of them on there. Like I said, I put like I said top five, and I always end up going six. Late registration was the sixth one that I had on there.
mm,
Um, so like college dropout, I had three skips on there. Um,
ooh, what are your three?
Workout plan, breathe in, breathe out, and last call. Last call was always just too long. I don't need all that. It's just a lot. It's a
Dog,
long fuck. Like
dog.
I don't have a lot of rules. I don't have a lot of rules, but it's just a lot. Breathe in, breathe out was
That's
just
my favorite one because it's so long though. I love the story that he's telling that brings the whole thing together. But that was, I'm getting there.
oh
Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. I mean, last he is. It's great, but the first time, I can't listen after the first time I listen to the album. I cannot listen to that song again, knowing because I just can't get the whole experience.
But it's also the
So I
last
might
song, so
listen
it's
to
like,
like
damn, you don't
two
have.
minutes of the last go. Yes, to the rock show, and he asked, and
Yeah.
we asked, and we asked, and I tell them, Mister. Like I love that. Like there is some. I love parts of that song. But
Mayonnaise
it
colored
gets to
bands
a
that push
point where you're
miracle whips.
listening
Come
to
on.
it. Like if I'm on a fucking treadmill or some shit and I'm listening to College Dropout just on shuffle, which I'm known to do,
Yeah.
I'm skipping that song because I was like, yo, I don't have time. You're gonna fuck up my momentum. You know what I mean? I was on pace to
Now
run a
you just
6 minute
walking because
mile
he's
here,
talking.
and now I'm like, this nigga is like having a full conversation with Jay-Z on the other side of the booth. Like
Yeah,
I don't have the time for you to be talking to,
I get that.
to Ty and all them. Like I just don't. Leave me the fuck alone. You know what I mean? Like,
You want to catch a brick.
you're
You want to catch a
forcing me
brick.
to listen to a conversation that I don't want to listen to. This is not a great podcast. Um, I
That's
put the
funny.
Carter three down. I have two skips on the Carter three, three
Mm,
Pete. And then
yeah.
no, it's actually four because I the note I put. So three Pete was the one song I wrote as the song, and then the next note I have is you could basically cut the last three songs like a tumor from that album. So it's like there's like three
Yeah,
bonus tracks at the end of that album, and
that's
you're just like,
you're right. Yeah, I'm looking at
yeah,
it right now. After La La, it's like, we're
yeah, it's
good.
just over with.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't need anything else. Can we
yeah.
just end this shit? For Drake, I have Take Care. Um, his best album, his best compilation of work
I
for
wouldn't say
me
best,
personally.
but
Just for me, his best compilation of work. Next to comeback season, because I mean, if we're going mixtapes in there, comeback season for me was when Drake
Mhm.
really took over. Um, but you can delete the ride and hate sleeping alone. Don't need them.
Oh, this
Just
this
don't
is
need them.
good. Okay, so here are my deletes.
Okay.
Headlines.
Okay.
I know that's controversial, but
It is.
and it's not. I've heard it too much. I actually just never liked the song.
Oh, okay.
Headlines.
Hmm.
Marvin's Room. Never liked it.
What? Full stop.
Why are you
No.
crying? Why are you crying on the song, bro? Like, get over it.
It is.
That's
First
how
of
I felt
all,
at the time. That's
it
all I'm
is
saying.
key to Drake's persona that he is a simp. Like that is the number one key to his persona. He is like that's
This
like
was
telling
overboard.
Kanye to stop rapping about leaving college and Louis Vuitton and shit. He's the Louis Vuitton Don. Okay. He is the rapper that's not talking about toting guns and pistols and shit like that. He's talking about
I'm
growing
from,
up
well, he
with
is now,
eclectic taste in
but
inner city. Well, but like growing up with eclectic taste in inner city of Chicago. Like
yeah.
that's what Kanye West is about. Betting on himself and winning every single time. Drake is a simp, but he is also capable of taking your girl undefeated on hook. I just cannot believe that Marvin's Room is wow. Wow.
Listen, I hear you, and
That's
and
in my
and
Drake Hall of Fame album. Like if I'm taking pieces and putting together a 13 track
no, not for
album for
me.
Drake out of the album cuts, not using mixtapes or features on other shit, that is on it.
I understand why, because it was a popular song. I just, like I said, I never liked it. Like I never liked
Is
the
it the beat
rhythm
or
of the
just
song.
like
I didn't
the
like the melody. I just didn't like it as a song. Like it felt
okay?
like someone just went in the studio and was just like throwing shit at the wall, and they were just like, yeah, okay, cool, we'll put this on the album.
Wow, just kick 40 in the nuts, man. It's fucked
Um,
up.
no, listen, the rest of this album is good, but that
Yeah.
one, no, I'm good. And then Doing It Wrong, which feels bad to say because I'm pretty sure that's the one with Stevie Wonder on it, but it was always too
Yes.
slow, and I was just like, I'm
Okay.
good on this one, like skip, especially because the next one was The Real Her, and I just couldn't wait to
Hmm.
get to that 3,000 verse. Um,
One
mind
of
you,
my
that's
favorite
there's still
3000
19
verses.
tracks on this album, so you know Drake still has a classic on his
And
hands.
that's I mean that's why it's such a classic for me because out
Yeah.
of 19 songs, 17 of them are no skips for me. At least by our rules, our definitions. 2014 Forest Hills Drive. I have two songs written down.
Mm.
Hello. I didn't even remember that song from the album, so I can guarantee I skipped that even the first time going through because I was like, "What the fuck song is this?" And I played it and was like, "Nope." So that's out. And then Note to Self. Again, I don't need a
You don't
14
like
minute
people
song.
talking. Yeah, you don't like
I
people
just don't
talking
need
at
a
the end.
14-minute song. I
But
get
the
it.
thing is, though, the thing is, the best part of that is when he's talking about, yo, Jonah Hill, Jonah Hill, and it's like, oh, actually, I don't know Jonah Hill. You realize
Yeah.
it's like, oh, he was just talking shit for the last 8 minutes.
Yeah, he was just bullshit.
Just
Right. It's like,
yeah,
but that's the thing. Is like, why? That didn't even need to go on the album. Like to get an album, you got to get like beats cleared and all this shit. You going through all of this. That could have been a skit. You could have put like that like somewhere else in the album, like clip that minute and a half that you loved, Jonah Hill, whatever, and
yeah,
just put that like as a skit somewhere and make it a couple of skits because you're taking us through, buying your childhood home, 2014 Forest Hills Drive, the first
hmm
home that made you feel like you didn't live in the hood. It felt like you owned something. You know what I mean? Like that's the meaning behind that album. That's the purpose behind that album. Him sitting on the roof, iconically in the album artwork
yeah.
and all that stuff. I don't need the 14-minute song. It just no. I'm out. Out on that. King by Ti. I'm
Mm,
straight and you ain't fly. Just get rid of them. Cut
okay,
them. Excise them from the album. And then we talked about Late Registration. I had My Way Home was my only one. Now, three albums with no skips. Good Kid, Mad City, which we had talked about a little bit earlier.
agree.
The Black Album, I have no skips on the Black
Okay,
Album.
okay.
And
To be clear,
Congratulations.
if based on our rules, I don't know.
Right. That's why I brought the rules up, because I was like, I feel like if he heard the rules, he would understand why there was no skips on that. And then Graduation, I have no skips. I'm sure there are other albums with no skips, but I just went quickly into my head. I went to freshman year of high school. I went all the way up through like freshman year in Hampton, and I was like, okay, what albums can I just sit back and remember that are throwback albums that are classics? Because like for me, in order to be a classic, it has to be a decade. You have to be a decade
Yeah, you got to
since.
give it some time. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so we're not talking about recent stuff. The most recent album I have on the classics here is probably the Kendrick album, Good Kid, Mad City, I think.
Wait, go back to
Or
Graduation.
was it 20, is 2014 Forest Hills after Good Kid? I don't. In
Yeah,
the
it is. It's after. Yeah.
It is okay.
That came
All
out
right. So
like
then 2014
2015, I
Forest
think.
Hills.
Or it maybe came out 2014.
No, it
actually.
did come out in 2014, because when
Yeah.
it first came out, I thought that's what it was. It was like, oh, the
Yeah.
year. What does Forest Hills Drive me? It took me a while to realize that was the address.
It's like, oh, that's your actual
And
address.
so yeah, right. Just
Um,
ironically kind of added up. It's cool.
Wait, going back to Graduation.
Mhm.
So I recently re-listened to Graduation
Yeah.
with my son in the car, by the way, which was an interesting choice.
Did he make you
I only-
skip and go to something else? Because that's what my daughter does.
Well, no, I wanted to play Champion
Mhm.
for obvious reasons.
Mhm.
A song about a kid rapping about his dad. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, like whatever. And then I think I just kept letting it play and stuff was playing, and I realized like Drunken Hot Girl should be a skip, but it's so funny.
It's not. It's exactly.
It's so funny.
That's the thing.
That
It's
it's
like,
like-
right when you got your hand hovering over the skip button, you're like, nah, I gotta finish
You're
it.
like 2 minutes in, and you're just like,
Yes.
okay, I'm gonna just let it rock. Once he goes la 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 la, that's how the fucking sound. It's like, oh, this is great.
These drunken girls.
This is great. And to your point, that is like quintessential, like freshman year, Harkness Hall. Like I remember that album coming out, and that was like literally we had literally just started college like a week prior, maybe 2 weeks prior. For those of us who didn't go to pre-college, we just started college like 2 weeks prior. So it was just like, this is between Graduation, Super Bad. Like I'm trying to think of something else that was like it just epitomizes like my freshman year of college. It's that right there.
I mean, I still remember I was in my
And
boy
Transformers.
Phoenix's room. I was in my boy Phoenix's room, actually babysitting Tamar because he had gotten too drunk that day.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. And I was just watching it on a lap. We had burned it because I didn't go to the movie theater, so that when I had actually burned it onto my laptop, and I was watching it there and just crying, laughing while Tamar was like laid out drunk. On the
Super
floor.
Bad.
Yeah, Super Bad.
Yeah.
But Graduation, I remember because that and Lupe Fiasco's The Cool, I think both came out.
I thought that was a little later. Maybe.
Was it a little bit later? Not at the same time. I'm just saying like around that same freshman year. Those are the two.
Yeah. I think it was like
I can really think about, because I actually put my roommate at the time, who was he was a Navy kid, so he was a Navy ROTC. So he didn't really have a lot of access to all that. So he was doing PT and shit, and I just would happen to be playing music really loud in the room all the time, and I put him on to Lupe. So that was my good deed for the world. That I did. I know I did that with The Cool. But Graduation always stuck out for me from freshman year as well, because it was just like, man, is Kanye ever gonna miss? And then he did, but
much later. Yeah.
Much later. Yeah. For me, he didn't miss until what's the album where you want to be God? Was it like
Jesus?
Jesus, yeah. That was the one
I know people didn't like it, but that was my
dog
that
shit.
was
808
relax.
Heartbreaks was like a slow burn.
Yeah.
Because
it took me
initially
a
I
while.
didn't like it, and then Tay, he was like, when you're doing homework, just put it on, take it off shuffle, just put it on and just listen to it while you're doing homework. And I was like, yo, this is a vibe.
When you get your heart broken, that's really when you be like, damn, he's right. Yeah, Kanye was right.
Yeah,
Actually, for
Kanye
me,
was-
Life of Pablo was like the first time where I was just like,
Really, I liked Life of Pablo. The song with Chance was really great. The song with Rihanna was good.
there's good songs on there.
Yeah.
But
as an
a whole,
album, no. Okay.
That was when I was like, but I wasn't ready to actually say it out loud. But that's what I think I realized, like deep down, he was kind losing a
Yeah,
step.
that wasn't it.
It's like
That
that
wasn't it.
fastball wasn't hitting 97 anymore. You know what I'm saying? It was like,
Yeah, yeah. He was struggling to get up to
it's like,
93.
is the gun broken? Looks like
Right.
that gun says 92, but
He's like, yeah, he could reach back for 93 at the top of the zone when he needs it, but
yeah,
he got to pitch now. He got to learn pitchability. He
yeah,
can't just blow
exactly,
you away anymore. So
exactly.
yeah. I mean, it's obviously it was a really, really great, really fun exercise. So again, shout out to the Higher Learning Podcast
By the way,
and Kev on Stage
for all my gospel fans, I love that
yeah.
Kev on Stage with Tone as his classic album, and
I
they were both
loved
mad confused. They were like, what?
yes,
Like,
that was my favorite part because Van was me in that moment. I'm like, I don't know who the fuck he's even talking about. Like, I can please don't do the thing where you're bringing up this album to show like I only listen to gospel music, but it was also like a beautiful insight into Kev on Stage and what it was
well, I
like for
mean,
him growing up.
yeah,
It was like I didn't know that he wasn't allowed to even own secular music until he was old enough
oh
to
yeah,
buy his own, and even then he had to like hide it from his parents. Like I was never raised that way, and never
this
raised around
is
people who were raised that way. So
this was my childhood. Yeah, this
really
is my childhood. Yeah. That my mom was not going for none of that. The only
growing
time I
up
listened,
in fucking Queens, New York, you couldn't
yeah,
listen to hip hop.
it didn't matter where I grew up. She didn't. It wasn't that I couldn't listen to it. I wasn't listening to it in the house. So the only time I
Oh,
would hear anything other than gospel music was if I'm in the car with my dad, I'm in the car with my aunt, like other people, like at school, whatever,
oh,
like there.
mom.
But
It
in the
was
house,
mom
it
strictly
was
no, not like the whole
it
thing,
was
but it was
Fred
mom was
Hammond,
like, nah.
it was Kirk Franklin, it was
Yeah,
John P. Key, it was Hezekiah Walker. You know what I'm saying? All of that. Like that's it. That's all we were hearing. So I mean,
that's great.
if
That's
we did
awesome.
like classic gospel albums, I mean, we could go.
You would wash me up because like I like very scarcely know like Marvin Sapp, and then everybody knows
Yeah,
Kirk Franklin and
yeah.
shit like that. Lecrae, if for
I
the
love how
hip
you said
hop.
shit like that.
What?
Just mad disrespectful to
Well,
Jesus Christ.
God knows his son. Um, but like nah, it's funny because for me the musical notes that hit certain chords for me in terms of my childhood is when I hear certain older music. Like I can't hear Aaron Neville and not think about
Mm,
going to my grandmother's house on the Cape
hmm.
and knowing what that meant. Like if you heard an Aaron Neville when you woke up at my grandmother's house, go outside because if she saw you inside, you were gonna help her clean something.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
was like, go outside and look busy. And it's crazy because I've carried that with me all the way through adult life. A lot of the things that my grandmother instilled in me, I keep even all the way through my adult life, but especially this one because even when I'm at work, especially working at the restaurant, it's like I'm always making myself busy. Like I don't ever want to be, caught flat-footed and the general manager come through and like see me and look, I'm just chilling, not doing something. So it's not like I'm always on, but when there's stuff to do, I am looking for it. And the only
hmm,
time you will see me chilling and, in my phone doing this and that and the third is when there's nothing else really for me to do or, I have a quiet moment to myself or
yeah.
something like that. But um it's just crazy how these musical notes and things will hit you and take you to a different transport you to a different place. I did not know that about you though, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'll say this too to that point, and we can cut sort of. I mean, I don't want to steer the ship too far here, but
Mhm.
uh, just kind of in the dad realm.
Mhm.
This was the first week that my son sang a song back to me that I've been singing to him, and boy, let me tell you, I was like,
How hard did you cry?
oh
And
my
for how
god.
long?
It's like, I think I dropped something actually. It's cool. Yeah, no, you do that. Yeah, go
Said,
play with your
allow
toys.
me to
Yeah.
reintroduce myself. My name is Hope.
I was like, oh my god, oh my god. Nah, yeah, like, but he's at the point now where like he's starting to pick up on the songs. Like Shannon will play uh, "Follow the Leader," the soca
Hmm.
song. So it's like "Follow the leader, leader, leader," and then somewhere in the middle they go, "I love soca." So he's just been saying "I love soca" randomly, like just all week, and I'm just like, why do you keep? And I was like, oh, like he's picking up on the songs, or like even the
Mm.
songs, the little kitty songs that I play, because like basically he has a whole playlist in my phone of just like
Same.
Disney songs,
I
and
made an Aria playlist too. Started with the list of songs I would play on Jasmine's belly, so that she would know the classics through me.
Yeah.
So there's like Bobby Brown in there and all this other kind of shit. But since she's been born and been into music, like the Baby Shark song is on there now.
Oh, I'm not doing that one. I
The
can't.
it's a brutal thing.
I
She
know.
loves the song Flex by Cupid. So that one's on there. She calls it Slide to the Right, which is just fucking adorable for me. And then that song from K-pop Demon Hunters, Golden, is the most recent ad that I've had to put on there.
Yeah, see, the thing is, all of mine are just old Disney songs. So it's
Yeah.
literally, it's like
That would be better. That would be preferable to my life,
it's
actually.
Lion King, Aladdin, uh, Toy Story.
Because those are still classics, you know.
But
When
but
you've got a friend, like I
yeah,
can listen to that, you know.
yeah.
That's a class.
I
I
did
will
throw
say
in
the Golden
Encanto
song
though.
isn't that bad, but when it's all I can hear in my backseat is "Daddy, play Golden, Golden, Golden," I'm like, oh my god, I just want to like smash my head on the steering wheel right
Yeah.
now.
Nah, it's definitely getting to the point now where I hear these songs and I'm just like, all right, here we go. On the
Mhm.
road. Goofy movie, like for the 7th time this week. And it's just like, okay, do
But at least he
you
knows the
need
classics.
a break from your modern living? It's like I know the songs now. Like, yeah,
Oh, you're not
it's
playing Powerline songs. You're literally playing like the
nah.
score.
Well, yeah, I mean that
Yeah,
was what came up when I was
yeah.
like looking for stuff. I was like, okay, like I'll play this one, I'll play that one. Like
Hmm.
I literally just put in um the song from Princess and the Frog, Almost There. Like that was because that song was stuck in my head
Nah,
and we
that
were
shit's
driving
fire.
home.
That
And I was
song's
like,
fire.
oh, we're almost there. And I was like, oh, let me play that song for him. And then it just started
Almost
playing a bunch of
there.
random stuff. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay, like I'll just turn this into a playlist. And that's where that came out of. That and the John Legend has like a album of kid
For
songs that he
kids, yeah.
created, yeah,
Hmm.
which is really good. And one of the songs is called Love. And then he did the version with Miss Rachel. So then it was just
Hmm.
like a whole thing. So now he wants to hear love. He's like, love, love, love. And I'm like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
Let's play it. But it's such a good song. And I'm like, I'm actually good with this. And he knows the words. So I'm like, this clearly he's smart. So this is great.
It's teaching. I mean, it teaches them a little bit more language. You know, you
Yeah.
get to hear your kid rhythm. It's just it's awesome. You get to re-experience music through your kid,
Yes.
and
Yes.
you get to figure out the things that they like just by what they pick up. Because like any
Mm-hmm.
kid can say anything to like make you feel better, but like when they're at this age where it's like they can communicate, but it's still not perfect. There's still some kinks to iron out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's always funny to see is like you could say you like anything, but if I'm playing this song and like you're not telling me no, I want to listen to this song, then I know you actually like this song.
Yes.
Because she's not afraid to, like, if I'm like in the car, I've gotten to a point where sometimes if I don't want to listen to her playlist, I just won't play anything. Because as long as
Just sitting
nothing
in
is
silence.
playing over the speakers, she won't try and steer the music playlist to whatever she
Yeah.
wants. Like there was a time I could listen to my podcast driving her to school. Those days are over,
Yeah.
probably forever. So um now it's like if I don't feel like listening to fucking Golden or Flex on the 10-minute drive to her school, then I'll just be, in silence, or I'll be asking her questions, or just talking back and forth, saying her
Yeah.
affirmations, whatever it is. When I'm like, yo, I just don't have it in me to listen to.
Wait, hold on. Affirmations. You playing Flipper
Mhm.
T?
No, no. Her school actually makes her say affirmations before they go in, so I've just been kind of like
I love that.
stealing those, and on the drive we'll just go through some of them, because sometimes when she gets to school she's so fed up and like doesn't want to go in, she wants to go home with us, that she'll just not participate in that part of it, because they make them say two of the affirmations, like a list of six. You say two of them, and then go, give your parents a kiss, and then they go into the school thing. But um, we'll bang ours out in the car before we get there, because I really words have power, so
It's true. I'm about to
yeah,
steal that.
it's good
That's
for her to
great.
have those
I
things.
like
Yeah,
that.
man, go through your affirmations. Make sure you send no, I'll text you the picture of it on the next drop off. I'll take a picture of the affirmations list. You just see it. It's really cool. We love the school.
I'm in.
Um
I'm in.
yeah, so I guess we'll take this straight into our last segment of the day, which is dad rules. You got one for us, Malik?
I do. I do. Which is similar to the conversation we were just having.
Hmm.
Um, to all my fellow dads, I'm telling you right now, when you, whether you're with your partner or whatever, when you guys decide to figure out to divvy up the responsibilities, do not, I repeat, do not volunteer for mornings.
Yeah,
Do
bro.
not volunteer for mornings, yo.
I have like, and I know that we had the connection over late registration earlier.
Yeah,
I have never been more
bro,
in simpatico with you than I
bro,
am right now. Like, y'all
bro.
do not understand. If you write
Oh
down
my
any
god.
dad rule that we have ever gone over, this
This
is the
clip
one
this
that you
clip is
write.
going up,
This
by
is
the
the
way. This clip is going up.
this clip
Just no
has to go up.
context.
Has to. I'm tagging Jasmine in this when we put it up. By the way, just
Listen,
because I've said this to her
fellas,
before that like she
fellas.
gets the easy job because she gets pickups. It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
I'm telling you guys, listen, all my dads, man, do not sign up for mornings. Like whatever you do, just don't. You think you're like you. The mornings are so ridiculous. Like it's like, did you do crack while you were asleep? I don't understand what's going on here. Why are you so turned up? I don't get
Yeah.
it. I don't get it. Trying to get out the door is like every day. By the time I get him to school, and I'm like my brain, all my energy, I'm like spent. I get to work and they're like, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, I've already had a full day. Please don't talk to
Yeah.
me. I've already had a full day. And I know they're probably looking at me like, yo, what's up with this dude? It's just like, you don't understand what it's like trying to get a kid to school in the morning. It's crazy. So, like, yo, I'm telling you, to all my dads, when you guys are deciding who's going to do pickup, drop off, all that, sign up for pickup.
And not for
Sign up for
nothing,
pickup.
the other part of this on the second half to piggyback on your dad rule for a second here is because for me the getting prepared part isn't as big of the issue because I would be remiss if I didn't say a lot of times, especially on days when I have a sleeping day, like um when I don't have to open up the restaurant or I don't
Mm-hmm.
have an early game, Jasmine will do the drop off and the pickup because I don't get to sleep a whole lot. So those will be my opportunities. So she'll do that. But dropping off at school, especially for your toddler kid who is starting to learn how to separate from mommy and daddy throughout the day, is a fucking nightmare. It just is. It doesn't matter. You could have had the greatest morning ever. She's in a
Yes.
great mood.
Yes.
She actually ate her breakfast and not just a large cup of milk with some Ella Ola vitamins mixed in there so that she can actually get her daily nutrients for the day. Um, you singing songs on the way to school, you're doing your affirmations, all that stuff, and then drop off comes and she's like, no. She at this point knows when I make that right turn to go into her
Yeah.
daycare area, she like her whole mood changes.
Yeah.
It's been up for the whole 45 minutes that we've been awake and getting ready and
Mad
everything.
energy.
Mad energy. As soon as we turn, I don't want to do affirmations anymore. I don't want to say hi to my teachers. I don't want to say hi to my friends at school. But on the few pickups, I've never done a pickup when she's been in a bad mood. Not one time. Every time you get there, she super excited, Daddy!
Yeah.
Just so happy to see someone that she loves and recognizes and to signify I'm going home. But drop off is like oh, so you're abandoning me again? Great.
Straight up. Straight up. Yeah. Nah, it's well, I mean, I have the issue is it's just the whole thing because he don't want to he want to play. I'm like, yo, we do this every day. That's the thing that be tripping me out. It's like I know you're smart enough to know routines because there's a lot of things that we do every day, and you know when it's coming. You know we do this. You know we do that. But somehow, all of a sudden, when we gotta start getting dressed, you don't seem to understand how that works. You don't know how your feet. You want to take the socks off. His thing too now is just like he don't want to put on sock. He want to put one sock on, but not the other sock. I'm like, I don't. Why you want? I be they they'll send like pictures of their kids and stuff, and I'll see him with one sock on. I'm like, first of all, why are your shoes off? Second of all, why are you missing a sock? Where's your sock? Like, what's going on here? So it's just all of these things in the morning, and it's just like, yo, we do this every day. We do this every day. It's me and you every day. I'm the only one who does drop off. So like, I don't understand why you're acting like this. And then it gets to the point where it's just like, I'm forcing the clothes on you now because now you're
Mhm.
acting like like you're tough and you can't be clothed. So I'm
Well,
clothing
yeah,
you.
you know what I mean. Now you're anti clothes, anti
Yeah, yeah,
t-shirt.
yeah. Now you're freaking. What are you, a hippie? You a hippie
Yeah,
now?
it's the same thing. Like yo, like she has a uniform for school, so it's like I'm putting her uniform dress on and everything
Yeah,
like that, and she's like, "No, I don't want to go to school." I'm like, "Listen, You do it 5 days a week, every single day. We go. Okay, I'm usually the one that brings you to school. Like just like you said, like we do this every day, and it always ends the same way
Yeah.
with you putting on the
You
dress
there.
and you
Yeah.
putting on the cardigan, and then we grab your cup of milk and whatever breakfast on the go that you want, and we hop in the car and we go. This isn't a oh I want mommy situation. Where's mommy? Where mommy go? Like mommy goes to school too.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes mommy's in school before we even wake up, and it's time for us to get ready to go. But like that's like her thing, and she just wants to like she puts on like that puppy dog face, you know,
Hmm.
and oh, I'm like I really don't have time.
Yeah.
I
That's the
really don't
thing.
have time right now.
That's the thing. And I'll add to it with, at least for me, because I have to set several alarms, or I'm just like snoozing the same alarm actually because I'm like we have to get out of the house. Because if I don't, then I don't like I lose all track of time just trying to like chase him down. So that's the added anxiety of me hearing like alarms going off in the background wherever my phone is. It's usually in the kitchen, and I'm in the room with him, and I can hear it. And I'm just like, yo, dude, like we have to go. Like we're not sitting here doing this. Then he wants to read a book, and it's like you're so adorable, but like we could take the book on the road with us, but like we need to walk through the threshold of this door. So like, please help me out. Like, just put the jacket on. Oh no! Then he starts to run, and he wants to point out everything. He's like pointing out the window, and he's pointing at this. I'm like, you know everything, but the thing I'm trying to get you to do, which is to put your jacket on. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand, dog. Oh man, yo, dads, I'm telling you, dads,
I
if you don't
promise you,
listen to nothing
he's putting
else,
you on game.
if you don't listen to anything else, do not sign up for the mornings. If you sign up for the mornings, just say like split, like be like, yo, I'll do three out of the five, but don't take all five,
Right,
because mom's definitely not switching schedules with you. I can guarantee you that.
100%. Like
Once, yeah,
once it gets locked in, it's never gonna change. It's never gonna change.
no,
So yeah, I have to 100% co-sign that. I've never felt something as deeply as I just felt what you just said. Like that is,
thank you.
man. If you ever have a dad rule, that is the one. For me, not that that one can even be topped. For me, my dad rule is um listen to your kids' stories with a grain of salt. Like I understand that a lot of
This is
parents,
really funny.
you know, they want to do their due diligence, especially in the phase that we're in. You know, the 2 year old phase, and she's a big communicator. She knows her words. She knows what she wants to say, even if sometimes she doesn't quite have all of the words. She has pieces of them. You can kind of fragment the sentence together every now and again. Um, but we're getting her into the routine of being able to tell us about her day after she gets home. And, you know, sometimes the stories can, you know, be a little bit extra. She might have a little bit of a sauce on the story, or she might have the, oh, Deshaun hit me in school, or oh, Susie stepped on my foot, or closed my hand on the door, or whatever it is. Like, you know, and I just want parents to understand, like, look, unless your kid is coming home with like scars, whether they be mental or physical, like just kind of listen to your kid's story. Um, you know, but take it with a grain of salt. Let's not be ready to rush up to the school and make a scene.
Susie did what?
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Like let these teachers have jobs.
Point out
You know,
which one
let
of
them
these
do
kids
the.
is which
You
one of y'all
know
little niggas is
exactly. Like everybody want to
Susie.
jump out the window because your 2 year old said this person hit you, but you don't
Yeah,
understand. Like they were playing tag and she tagged you.
yeah,
You know what I mean? There wasn't hit. You were mad because you got tagged. You didn't get hit. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So like I would just say, listen to the story, get into the routine of your kids sharing stories with you, even the hard stuff. But you know, let's provide some, you know, let's add some discernment to that as well. Let's not just take everything at face value.
Yeah, maybe don't run up to the school for every little thing. But
Yeah, it's probably
keep like I would keep that in mind though. Like figure out which one of the kids is Susie just in case. You know what I'm saying? But like maybe don't run up on Susie's parents like, yo, next time your kid does this, like
you know what I'm saying it's gonna be a
fight.
misunderstanding around
Yeah,
this
yeah,
piece.
yeah, yeah. It's actually mad funny, especially for a 2 year old.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, it's
Which one of y'all little niggas is Susie?
you know what I mean, and
Yo,
that's what you
Lord.
really have to stop yourself from. Jasmine more so than me, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm relatively chill, but like, yeah, or she'll learn as she gets older. Like, daddy crashes out about sports, but mommy crashes out about you.
Everything
So
else.
just kind of tell me the story first,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
will
yeah.
decide if it needs to,
Yeah, let filter
you know
it
what I'm
through me.
saying, make it to Iron Mike Tyson over there. Okay.
That's funny.
Oh, oh man, but yeah, like it's great. It's been great being able to catch up with you live here on the pod. It's been great being able to talk to you guys again. Bear with us. Sometimes you're gonna have a week and you're not gonna hear from us, and I know it
Yeah,
makes you guys sad.
yeah,
And you know what? We hear that. We still communicate on a
it's
regular
true.
basis. Sometimes you just won't hear it, and that's just the way that's gonna have to go. Dad life, but we do appreciate the people that have been rocking with us, especially our day ones. So thank y'all. We really, really appreciate y'all.
Always.
Again, like, comment, subscribe, share, whatever. But even if you don't, we're gonna keep bringing it to you, whether you want it or not. So that's the way that it is. But thank y'all again. It's been another wonderful episode of the No Rules Podcast. Go Raiders.